Welcome to the Gransberry Chronicles Weekly Pick'em. It's week 5, and I'm your girl, the Gransberry, and I got my boy D Jones rocking on the left, and I got my boy Coach B Pat on the right, better known as Big Sexy Entanglement King. You
Hey,
know, got it all.
hey,
What's up?
what's poppin'?
Uh, what's up? It's an exciting week. So before we get started, I want to talk about a few things that, around the sports world. One, we got the MLB playoffs going on. The Rangers already secured their spot and heading to Baltimore to start their series. And we got games going on right now. And the Twins closed out their series a little bit before the show. They're headed to the H. That's H Town, like my boy D Jones rocking. And so Eric comes home in the playoffs. So, it should be an interesting
Keuchel too.
win. I'm sorry?
Dallas Keuchel too.
Oh yeah, well, he been gone a long time though.
That is
He
true.
don't really fit the same mold as like
I
Correa.
didn't even know he was still pitching till a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, because I remember, I think when they first got him, they put him in the farm system to get
Yeah,
him.
I remember now, but I wasn't even thinking about it.
Yeah, and I want to give my small recap from my amazing weekend. Shout out to Carlisle Popcorn out of Pennsylvania. Check them out when you get a chance. The owners were in town Sunday, and we spent a great afternoon watching some great Texans football, and we got the victory that we all didn't see coming that way. Like, we have to all admit, last week that was far from what we discussed on the show. But obviously, when you get the win, you don't even care. So at the end of the day, I could be wrong about that every week if that's how the outcome will go. But also, I want to include, I had an amazing Saturday. I was in Colorado, got a chance to see, quote unquote, the prime effect and confirm it is real. And I think, every week I have something to say about Colorado, and every week I've had something to say about Dion. Coach Prime, let me give him his due respect. And I want to make sure it's clear that there's something different. Some people have a gift, and that gift comes from God, because I believe in God, and so does Coach Prime. And you can't ever take away someone's gift and what's for them, as my boy D Jones always reminds me. And so when you get there, there's just an air of, we feel good because we're in the presence of someone trying to do something great. The average game with a blowout, the fans leave. The fans didn't move at halftime. They were unconcerned with the score. And it says a lot about supporting the entire team. It says a lot about the respect of the fan base for the product they see on the field and where they're headed. And I just have to make sure I say that, because the stands, people are predicting what quarter would the stands be empty in their insulting ways. And so obviously they were very, very wrong. And after one amazing weekend, I'm headed back later on next month. As a matter of fact, I've already committed to going back. And I just want to say I had a good time, and I'm looking forward to, seeing it up close, seeing the energy up close. It's always different, which is one of the reasons I love live games, and I encourage everybody to do a live game. But the energy is very well respected. When you see people, I'm talking about not just at the game, I'm talking about being in all of the surrounding towns, and people just energized about football, when normally that's not the highlight of the area, and all the businesses grateful for the business. I mean, down to the nail salons doing nail colors. People just don't even think about the trickle down effects of that, and how it's really true about the economic dollars. And I always believe sports brings us some of our greatest unity. A lot of people feel that way about comedy, that is universal for a laugh. But I think sports has a bigger connection, because you get to witness a team come together, and then the fans are another team trying to come together. That's just kind of how I see it. But I know you didn't join us tonight to hear about my Colorado experience. Maybe I need to do a separate episode on just life in the Stadium Queen and my travels. I'll keep that in mind. But for now, we're going to move on because we have only a few great games to talk about tonight. D. Jones is going to do what he always do and, get the games out the way that I'm pretty sure most people are not interested in. But I will say this, somehow we managed to get two good night games. We might not have got the outcomes that everybody wanted or plays and calls, but the point is there was a way to find some good football in our night games. And hopefully that continues because I know tomorrow everybody's a little indifferent about the schedule, but I'm looking forward to it. So D Jones, I'm gonna let you hit them up.
All right. So to get them out the ways this week, let's start with the solo dolos. We got two solo dolos, and the rest of them we all agree on. So the solos, Coach picks New Orleans, Gransberry and myself pick New England, and then Coach picks Jets. Gransberry and myself are going to go with the Broncos. So outside of that, we all pick Washington to beat Chicago, Detroit to beat Carolina, Miami to beat the Giants, Baltimore to beat Pittsburgh, Philly to beat the Rams, Cincinnati to beat Arizona, Kansas City to beat Minnesota, and Green Bay Packers to beat the Vegas Raiders. Those to get them out the ways. Let's talk about the ones that we really care about.
Well, before we get into that, I had a few questions that I posed earlier today, and hoping that those watching will jump in and give us their takes. I just, we've got 4 games out the way, other than the fact that we've added another game to the season that puts us just at about a little bit of a quarter of football is complete. So with that quarter, who would you say under center that you're fond of at the moment? And I'm careful with my wording. I'm not saying who's the MVP. I'm not saying who are the top 5 QBs. And part of the reason I'm not saying it that way is because the opinions will vary based on what you're looking for in the QB, whether it's stats or wins. I just want to know, who are you enjoying seeing under center? Coach?
Well, obviously, CJ here in Houston, that's number one. Well, up there, not necessarily number one. I'm intrigued about what Arizona is doing with Joshua Dobbs. Uh, they're not winning a lot of games, but they're playing physical and they're playing. He understands their offense that way. I like the way Josh Allen actually played last weekend against against the Dolphins, and then Tua. I like the way he's controlling that team, even though they got beat against the Bills last week. But you can't knock the accuracy or the speed of their team as well. So just Tua just brings a different little aspect of that team from that with that. So those are 3 or 4 of the quarterbacks that I actually liked. I actually love seeing them play for this season so far.
D Jones?
So of course we probably all agree on 7, right? So we're not gonna take up no time.
7 meaning CJ, because obviously if they're not a Texans fan, they don't know his number.
My bad. They be with us. They know what we talking about right here. So my other obvious for me is Love in Green Bay, just because there was so much unknown about the post Aaron Rodgers era. What would he look like? I kind of felt he would be ready just because he's been in the system this long, but it's good to see him actually put it together and play well. Outside of last week, I think last week the whole team looked pretty bad, but he's been playing well over the first 4 games. And then my surprise, or it might be surprising to you, but Goff has been playing very well in Detroit. So those are 2 that I'll kind of throw in the hat. I've enjoyed seeing what they're doing in that NFC North division. What about you, Grands?
So, ironically, I did tell someone this week that I thought Goff was playing great football. We know I'm honest. Hey, we know I'm honest.
Did it hurt though? Did it?
Did it?
It did not hurt though.
Okay. Just thinking.
Actually, it doesn't have to hurt because I was being honest, which is natural for me. So beforehand, y'all can't act like it wasn't what I was seeing and it wasn't that great.
No,
Don't.
you're right.
And
Right.
so he has had a rebirth, and it's been a good rebirth. New coach, new town, new players, and it's working. So let me be the first to say that I have no problem with giving you your due credits. I'm not one of them. I'm not anti him. I'm anti bad football. So
Anti bad football.
yeah,
It was sometimes you was anti him. It was not all the time, but it was sometimes it was just
no,
something
I
about
might
him
have gave more antics and been more petty, but my picks were
overall.
still legit
Okay,
overall. When I did, if I had to pick him, I would be honest about he wasn't my favorite
true,
pick, but I still
true,
would pick their team.
true.
So I will say that.
Yeah,
But overall, I have been impressed. I definitely felt like they're putting in a fight of 4 quarters. So I'm loving that. And this might be a surprise. I actually like how for the Commanders. I think he is putting in a great fight. And I don't want to do comparisons per se. I'm not talking about style of play, but he gives me like some of that Baker Mayfield feeling, but yet his own swag, because I hate always the comparison. And I'm talking about swag, not style of play.
yeah.
And just, taking his own and taking it in. And being from a team fan base that has seen a quarterback stay sacked and leading the sacks for the season, Deshaun led the league in getting sacked. Carr definitely led the league in getting sacked. We've had 3 quarterbacks lead the league in getting sacked, and right now he's been sacked 24 times already in 4 games, and he's
He's
still
getting
finding a way to stand up and play. And to me, that's a hard fight. And the reason why that's important is because while we talk about all these teams with backup lines like Dallas, us, um, the
all
Giants,
over the Giants. All
right,
over
the
the
Giants, and then the Jets just not having the line that they need, and for
right.
years the Colts in their line. And so with that in mind, that when you see that somehow the top guy is not even the guy, the line we're talking about. So for me, I just have to give him that. And then obviously we're tracking stat wise, and I don't have to play Homer. And I think you guys already said enough about Stroud. So with that in mind, of course, I'm ready to, dive into the first game that we picked. I think we picked some good games to put on the topic list today without doing too much and, keeping everybody honest. So our first one seems like Jackson, our division is heavy tonight in our game picks, but it's probably some of the better matchups at the moment. And the entire AFC South right now sits at 2-2. And so the first matchup is Jacksonville versus Buffalo in Buffalo, if I'm not mistaken. And so personally,
It's in
no,
London. London.
oh, that's right. That's no, it's
Oh,
Or overseas. Yeah.
Germany. Isn't
Because
it
they were
Germany?
doing back, they were
they
doing
did two
I
back to
can't
back.
remember. They're doing a
Yeah.
back to back. This the second one.
Yeah, but I think this is Germany though.
It's not in London.
London.
It's just overseas. Yeah, it's a
Okay.
different
Yeah,
city.
overseas. Yeah.
Right.
I just said London because they played last weekend.
Okay. So shout out to that game. But anyway, I can't remember where. But the point is, I'm going with Buffalo. I really think that the quarterback we saw last week is the quarterback that Buffalo has. Obviously, he is not a guy that, throws 4 picks. It's not something we're like counting on the over under. And he has, yes, Derek, he does at moments play hero ball, which leads to his interceptions. But my point is, on average, his style of play last week is something that we also know is his norm. It wasn't like an exceptional game that he's not capable of having. I think he'll have another performance. I still think Trevor's a great quarterback. I just think they're having some sync issues. I don't know. I won't say that he hasn't went to another level. That's definitely not what I mean, but just everybody expected them to be the more dominant team in our division. And I did too, mainly because they had more pieces, just the stability of winning the division most recently. And they just seem to be a little bit further ahead. We obviously know I'm not handing the reins to Tannehill. And then the other two teams have rookie quarterbacks. So with that in mind, they were expected to have some separation. Obviously, nobody is viewing this division as the runaway division to look forward to in the playoffs, or the camaraderie of great matchups for the season. But taking every game for where we are now, week 5, I think Buffalo has enough to beat Jacksonville. Coach?
You hit the nail on the head about Buffalo. I mean, just the fact that I think last week put like a little trigger in them offensively, like, hey, this is how we got to play. This is how we're able to score, and they're capable of being a high scoring offense. Bottom line, defensively, they're still missing Von Miller, but then you got to remember their head coach is now back to doing calling plays on the defensive end. So, but having said that, like you said, Trevor, you everything you said hit the nail on the head. They're not quite in sync yet. They did beat Atlanta last week, but they got a pick six, and then they got something from a short field for them to score. So, with that aspect. So I'm gonna go with Buffalo in this one because I think Buffalo is starting to hit that little stride. I think they're gonna go on like a 3 or 4 game run here, just based on that. D Jones.
Yeah, so Buffalo, the thing that was missing from Buffalo the first 3 weeks, I think, is the defense. And that's what showed up last week. I think Josh has been what we think Josh is going to be. It's just the defense hasn't been traveling, and bring up a good point with the coach calling the plays. I think that was definitely noticeable, and we'll see if they got up for Miami after Miami put up 70. Did they get up for them last week, or is this going to be their norm? Jacksonville are who they thought they are, right? So I'm thinking with them, it's more about their coaching. I have respect for Peterson and everything, but it seems like something's not clicking with that team. They have the pieces. It seems like they don't always run effectively. They have the quarterback. It's just I don't know if things are in sync with the play calling, the game planning, and all of that together. What you think?
He gave up his play calling last week to the OC. He was doing the play calling, and then that was the first time he gave up his play calling to the OC. But you're right as far as that.
Gave it up week 4 yes. Or okay.
Last week was the first time he let the OC Press Taylor call every play in the game. So
when you said last week, you just mean literally this past week.
This past week, that's what I meant. I'm sorry. The game this past week against Atlanta. So that could be something new.
It could be.
Like you said.
Maybe that's the thing. Maybe he was trying to do way too much. But I'm with you guys. Buffalo favored by 5 points in this one. I take Buffalo.
And I think they lost a corner, but they get Von Miller back.
I think he started back practicing, but I don't know if he's going to be expected to play.
Okay. Well, I mean, they're getting him back soon.
Yeah, he's coming. He's coming.
Okay. So anyway, on to another AFC team, but it'll be more so AFC matchup, AFC South to be more direct. And that would be Tennessee versus Indy. And I would say I'm probably with Richardson back starting. I understand Henry's playing running back and quarterback, but right now I'm still gonna go with Indy. Coach.
That was funny. Which Colts team are we gonna get? The first half Colts team last week, or the one that went on that nice little offensive run in the second half against the Rams this past week? So I don't trust Tannehill. I don't. I didn't trust him at A&M.
He's your golf.
Yes. I mean, what is he a wide receiver playing quarterback? I mean, I don't trust Tannehill. So I'll reluctantly pick the Colts because I have to pick one of them. So I'm gonna go with the Colts in this one.
Shout out to Gonzalez, our favorite fan.
No, he hasn't.
Of the show, but no, he hasn't. So I don't know if he will. I mean,
Is he 2 on their depth chart?
I was going to say he's not even 2. We haven't seen the 2.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't think he's 2.
Willis is 2.
This might be my flip flop game this week,
Yes,
right?
yes.
It's really touchy.
So
They're
I'm-
not equal.
Right.
yeah. So I may say I'm gonna say Tennessee tonight. So
Got our Tennessean on the show. He wanted us to know.
I'm with D Gentry. I'm a go with Tennessee this week. I just don't want to pick the Colts. I like to see
Okay.
and I like to see Richardson do well, but from the game a couple of weeks ago against the Texans, I saw some issues there, and I think Vrabel will see some of those same issues as long as they keep them or minimize their time in the red zone.
Right.
I think Tennessee should have enough to win this game. I don't know if anybody from Tennessee, or any fans other than Gentry watch us, but just newsflash: inside the red zone, Richardson is going to run. Okay, I'm telling you now, Richardson's going to run inside the red zone, so they need to be ready for that. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Tennessee today.
Tennessee. Tennessee. So next up we have our guys, of course. Houston is headed to the ATL, and normally I would be on my way to the ATL, but right now I'm not.
Mhm.
And so that should be updated news. I'm staying put. But guess what? For now.
But I'm about to say for a couple of days.
Yeah,
Right.
for a couple of days. And also I'm just not in the business of paying flight prices that are like going to foreign countries and booking a hotel for a week with all inclusive. It's just the balance just doesn't add up to me.
No.
So I'm good. But at the same time, back to this amazing team that I just watched on Sunday dismantle the Steelers. And it's so amazing that I have to tell this. I have to tell quite a few stories before I give you guys the floor. It amazes me that somehow, always, when Houston plays bad, we're a horrible team, we're a terrible team, we terribly owned, we terribly coached, we don't have good players, we sorry, we trash, we garbage. But when another team is getting dominated by us, it's, well, we don't have what we need, and it's just an off year, and we're gonna let you have this win. If I heard another fan tell me they was gonna let us have this win, I'm gonna let you know right now. You wasn't doing anything to get the win in the first place. We owned that game from quarter 1 to quarter 4. So it's amazing to me. And I can say that because I've sat in enough losses that I got the right to sit on the top of the mountaintop and yell down at you guys about, don't tell me about when you lose to the Texans, everything wrong with your team. Because if you're into football, you've known we haven't had core pieces for years.
Even when we were good.
Even when we were good, we'd have a dominant defense, and then we'd have a bad offense or average offense that could not succeed.
Average, don't call them bad.
Right, succeed. Right. So at the same time, I'm like, all of a sudden they lose all this football skill and knowledge when they discuss losing to us. They got all these new facts. And then secondly,
well, hold on before you get to your second point. And there was a lot of people in that stadium that was wearing black and gold and spent a lot of money and helped a lot of season ticket owners get some of their money back that didn't expect to lose.
They didn't, and they were salty. And and now, I'm just speaking out into the universe because obviously I don't know her name, but the fan behind me was in her feelings. And I hope she find me on social media and this video and know that if you go back and watch the game, because the Texans had to score 3 times to finally get 6. Yeah, our first touchdown took 3. It took 3 attempts because of penalties and whatsoever. But anyway, she insisted that it was not PI when they called it against her DB. But That's fine. Everybody claims, right? What everybody has a moment where they say this is not pass interference, this was not this, oh, whatever. The only part that got me is she said, and I quote verbatim, ma'am, I don't even know you, but I watch my sons play football, and I know that that's not pass interference. If ever you watch a football game and you telling me that the DB can fly in front of the receiver, not play on the ball, okay, not attempt to tackle, and you don't think that's, if you don't think that's PI, fine. Just go with you don't think it's PI. But please don't tell me about how many games you watch with your son, because you're unbeknowing who you're speaking with. I don't wear a crown because I show up just at the stadium. Let's be clear. The stadium team might be the name, but the game I got down. I got it down at the copyright office in a book, 2 volumes. Okay,
man,
specifically
she preaching,
on the
y'all. She preaching.
Don't let me bring out the red flag and the yellow flag. Hey, all I'm gonna tell you is I respect every man, and I said every man.
Well,
never stepped on a field and played the game of football. I can't never tell you how to play because I don't play football and never did. I know my lane, but what I know is rules. I'm built for rules. As an engineer and a lawyer, you can't tell me nothing about a rule. I know how to follow the rule. I know how to apply it.
Now that we can, me and Derek can attest to that. We know that. So yeah.
Yeah. So all I'm saying is the next time you try to tell me, you know how many games I watch a week? You know how much 22 film I watch? Because I watch the 22 film. So while you trying to watch that one corner and that one wide receiver, I'm watching the 22. I know where everybody at on the field. Okay. So you can take all that back to your little league, AAU, your grandma's pastor, whoever you need to.
Preach it.
But I know you was in your feelings because you couldn't say nothing else to me the whole game, but you tried to talk about me. Because one thing I know, baby, I know when I'm the subject of your conversation. So you rolled your ass right on out of there with an L on your forehead, a stomp in your step, and bitterness in your heart. And now I'm done.
That's the Woodridge team.
All right, Coach, you got to play.
That
was on the record.
It's funny that you said that because I was sitting in front of some Steeler fans too, and they were saying Harris sucks, and then Harris go down and had a 12, 13-yard run. Oh, he's the greatest. I mean, like, which one is it? So you can't have it yet. But I will say this. Last week I said we had to win. I felt like we should win the game because we had to break that home losing streak, because you can't come back home after beating Jacksonville like that and then come back home. That team, I don't know. I mean, it was like, what the heck is going on? It was totally different. I mean, it wasn't just CJ; it was everybody.
It was the team.
It was the whole team. The coaching looked like, hey, this is what we're doing. I mean, the last couple of years, we were seeing people not knowing we had an offense coordinator that didn't make the. I mean, it was just a bunch of mess. Yeah, chaos. And everybody knew what they were doing last week, and that was different. So, and then now we're going to this week with Atlanta, and we saw Atlanta's game, the 8:30 game in the morning, and Ritter goes out and throws 2 interceptions unexpectedly, of course, because he's not a turnover. He's never been a turnover prone guy. However, they don't open up the offense with those 2 big wide receivers with Pitts and London, but they got Bijan back in the backfield. Now we can't have that. Nope. No. You can have him.
No returns.
Yeah, no returns, no takebacks, as they said. So, but I'm obviously going to pick the Texans on this one. I don't want to obviously. Well, I'm picking the Texans in this one because I feel like they found a mojo and they're high off of that win at home. They're ready to take the show on the road. D. Jones.
All right. So what I'm going to do here is stay consistent and I'm a pick against the Texans, and hope that they get in a row. So I'm picking Atlanta.
Okay. Look, take one for the team.
I'm picking Atlanta. Yeah, they got a lot of people coming back this week. A lot of pieces. You got both tackles coming back, even though Titus might play guard. We'll see. He practiced that guard today. So we'll see if they end up putting him at right tackle or let him play that left guard spot. It was tough to see Kendrick Green go down with a knee injury, especially playing against his former team after they, the local media basically dogged him out just because the Texans gave up a late round pick. So he had been playing pretty good for us, and I'll make sure for backup of a backup offensive line. So so shout out to him. But yeah, I think the boys looking good. I love the energy that was at NRG this past Sunday. It felt energized just because we had an opposing team, but shout out to the fans. When we needed to get loud, we was just as loud as they were. So I was kind of worried about that going into the game, but it was a great atmosphere. It was good to see fun football back in the city. It's good to see the city back energized. So hopefully they can keep this going.
And we get our punter back.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to Steele Stroud too for mentioning he noticed all the little black and gold in the stands, and he also noticed his fans was there too, and they deserve to be able to over cheer those fans. And that's a good position to be in because there are about 4 fan bases that I would say will consistently be hostile for an opposing team. And when you can get some of that energy at home and understand it, I think it helps you later. You can simulate it all you want, but when you can respond to it in a positive way, I think that's just amazing from all fronts. And I'm sorry, I just have to give a shout out to everybody on the O-line that came out there, because keeping that boy upright is amazing to me, because I can't do it. And so I'm gonna give you credit every time you do it, and especially if it's none. And that don't mean it ain't gonna never happen. I get that, but to know that the position we've been in for the last couple of weeks, and you found a way to hold him up, because we all know that even the one turnover he has had, it was due to a line switch on a previous play, and they immediately went for that side on the next play, and it was a sack fumble that we lost. So for me, that's good. We're not repeating the same mistakes. It's okay to have mistakes, but we're not repeating the same ones. And so, I'm good with you picking, Atlanta. If you're headed to Atlanta and you're a Houston fan, have an amazing time. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful stadium. If you've been to Dallas before, it's just think a little bit wider of a screen and a tad bit up higher. But for the most
part, one that's they got the one that's inside the
correct.
Does it open up?
It does open
that
up,
hole open,
but a little hole open. It's not
that's the one I was thinking. Okay.
And one thing, Chick-fil-A will be closed, but they have amazing concession stand pricing. It is the best concession stand pricing by far across. Yeah, and there's some amazing brunch spots on the outside of downtown by the stadium that are all walkable. So make sure you check that out. Good mimosas and drinks in case you want to get all that in before you head over to Mercedes-Benz. And like I said, have an amazing time in Atlanta. It's one of those stadiums I definitely did enjoy being inside of. And so I wish them the best. Now we're going to get to our game of the week. I think pretty much everybody knows it's the game of the week. It's the night game. They don't even have to say it. It's the 2 top defenses showing up against each other. Let's see which one gets enough offense through to get the win. So we normally talk about, Houston after Dallas, but Dallas, I think, has the better matchup this week against San Francisco. And Brock is having, again, he still is having an amazing game under center. So everybody's looking forward to this. Dak is looking forward to his redemption of being knocked out the playoffs, from this same team. And so he's looking for his own set of redemption as well. But there's one thing about redemption. I'm not big on redemption. I'm gonna say that. And the reason why is probably I would spend my whole life trying to be redeemed because somebody always got something to say. And so I believe the best way to
It's a
operate.
repetitive process. It's a repetitive process.
Yes. And so I believe the best way to present yourself to any opportunity is just feel your best and give your best, because between those two, nothing else can knock you off. It doesn't really matter what happened the last time, you know? And so for me, I'm not comparing anything about last year. I'm not even comparing anything that happened with Dallas against the Cardinals. I just believe that right now San Francisco's coach better. We've seen it consistently be a plug and play system that can work. And I just think that Purdy can take care of the ball a little bit better than Dak has proven to do in pressure situations. So I'm sticking with the 49ers, even though I know Dallas has a better defense, in my opinion, at times. But I just think that the 49ers have a better response to a tougher defense.
Hmm.
Coach?
Hmm.
It's funny that you said plug and play. They plug in coach too. They fill in whatever coach in the that new defensive coordinator. From that aspect, they've had three different ones that had solid defenses. I'm talking about San Francisco.
Correct.
Dallas, Dan Quinn is doing a great job with their defense and moving Micah Parsons around. They lost Diggs in the back, but they filled it in, that aspect of it. But Purdy going 20, wait, was it 20 for 21 or 21 for 22 last week? And, people will say, oh, he's just the game management. But he's doing a great job of whatever you want to call it, what it is. So I'm going to pick San Francisco and for this reason, because I think Purdy is going to manage his offense better um, than Dak Prescott, and they, like you said, more organized offensively, and then we'll go from there. We'll see what happens on the defensive side. D Jones.
It's funny how people use game manager when they talk about quarterbacks these days. He's
Right.
only a game manager because he was the last pick of the NFL draft. If he was in any of the first three rounds, then they
Yeah,
wouldn't describe him that way.
I
I
don't
do get
describe
it
him that
though.
way, actually.
Yeah, I don't either. And I'm not saying coach do. I'm just saying people in general. I mean,
Yeah.
you've definitely had game managers. I mean, Trent Dilfer winning the Super Bowl with the Baltimore Ravens, where he literally was just hand the ball off and don't turn it over. That's game manager. Purdy is playing some good quarterback and showing that that's who he is. He continues to prove. So as long as he continues to prove, I think we need to just give him the respect that he's due. Both of these defensive coordinators should be or can be head coaches in this league. One, I think, should have had the Carolina job for the guy in San Francisco, but they wanted to go a different route. So even when you talk about plug and play, you plugging in head coach material type guys. That offense is what that offense is. Much respect to Dallas and their defense. I'm picking San Francisco offense to have the upper hand on them this week. And I know what you're saying about redemption. I think the word really for Dak might be he need a revival every now and then. So they just need to keep him, in our church thing that we having tonight since Gransberry been preaching. But sometimes he just need a reviving. You know what I'm saying? They just need to lay a little hands on him. But he's gonna have the wrong hands laid on him this week with Bosa. And I think San Francisco at home will take care of this game. So let's go with the Niner gang on this one.
Yeah, so I'm with the Niner gang on this game. But also, I wanted to say that I didn't really see any new um celebrations that stood out to me that I think overtake. I saw a good group celebration, but it wasn't memorable enough to me to pass up Stomp the Yard yet. Stomp the Yard is still.
There was a
don't think
drumline
anything-
celebration this week, though.
I did see Drumline finally,
There was-
right?
And I was impressed with the line. You know, they moving the line. They was moving
They
doing
did.
the downfield, but nah, it still didn't. It
But
still
it's
didn't.
still not Stomp
Tyreek
the
still up.
Yard.
Yeah, Stomp the Yard.
It's
Tyreek
gonna
is
be
still up.
hard. It's gonna be hard to beat Stomp the Yard.
Yeah, that's gonna be hard to beat.
Titans did Drumline,
Yeah.
but when you're not winning, it kind of make it not so.
Nah, I mean, we can separate. We can separate.
That's true.
But-
I'm joking. I'm hating because it's our division. I gotta.
Yeah, but they
Those
still, yeah.
They did a good job.
They drumline was cool. They still
was-
got better. We still got Tyreek as and doing the Stump the Yard with the slide. That's still up here. Then I gotta
Which
go
is
with
Tyreek
the
in the
ones on top
offense
of
because it
things.
took the whole offense
Yeah,
to pull off
yeah.
the look.
yeah, for sure.
And I would say, the unity celebration, and I'm using unity differently here. So follow me, guys. Meaning the fact that several players are doing it on different teams.
Yeah.
It would be, I think it's called the NGL. Is that what it's called?
You talking about the left right thing? I think no.
I don't know.
I have to tell you again. No, it's kind of like it started with an S. It's a struggle, or it's not struggle though. I gotta look it up. But
Okay.
I know what you're talking about. It's the West Coast little boogie thing when they go left right. Yeah.
Yes. I thought it was called NGL or something like
It's
that.
not. Yeah, it's actually a different name to it, but
Okay. So I
we'll get it
apologize
next
for
week.
not getting the name right. I'll research it next time.
We'll
But
get it
I would
next week.
say that's the popular one. It's replaced the, is it the Giddy? What is it? The Gritty? The
Yeah,
Gritty.
Gritty.
Now I'm showing my age. So it replaced the Gritty, and it's cute to me. And so
It's a nice little groove.
it's a nice little groove, right?
Yeah.
And you can just go, like, you could just find the beat at the moment.
Kind of grown and sexy too, you know?
Yeah. So I'm liking that one. And I think I did it a few times Sunday, because I know how to do it. I just don't know the name of it. So, and when we thought Will Anderson had a pick six, we was doing it so long. And then we looked up and realized they had took it back. And that's when Salty Feelings was like, if they wouldn't have been dancing, they would have known it was taken back. But Salty Feelings knew not to say that to my face. Now, mind you, I'm not going to jail or anything over no game, but I am ultimate petty. I will make you cry in the car, which I already know she did, but I'll make you cry in front of me too. So
she did. She cried in the car.
I said, girl, it's a long flight home. I know you and your feelings. I did let her know that. I said, I know you and your feelings. It's okay. So that's what some losses do to you. And when you done earn the right to sit in the rain, losing 0-40 on the road, you can tell people about themselves. You can. And I do. And that's how it is. So I want to thank y'all for joining us this week. We tried to keep it real and keep it short. I want to thank B for checking us out, Renee for checking us out. What's up, AC Martell, Jonathan? Good luck to your boys. I don't think y'all gonna win, but Gonzalez, we always love you for being on the show. Look, give me 1 second because I want to get one more shout out because they are well deserving. I don't know who it is by name. And I'm not going to give out your real name anyway, but I am going to give you your moment. And I got a gift card for you, $25 to Starbucks or Chick-fil-A. You're going to need to inbox me because I don't know who the person is. Truthfully, they'll be able to identify themselves by their email. But we got to give a shout out to Starstruck. Starstruck missed one game last week.
Yeah,
and the one game they missed was the Miami Bills game. They picked the Texans. They got every game right, but that one. That was a hell of a week.
Yeah, that's dope.
That's a hell of a week.
Yeah, because last week,
that, and I can't wait to give out that gift card because that was well earned. I don't care if you guessed all the way through.
You guessed right.
It worked. Because I didn't even pick every team. I forgot to pick some games, and I run the damn group and can't get it right. So look, Every time me and these old what did Brandon say I had my fat thumbs, they keep hitting the little thing too many times and I undo it. So it's whatever.
Pac-Man thumbs.
Yeah, Pac-Man thumb. I play Pac-Man good though. So it's my bowling thumb too. So what up? But anywho, we want to thank y'all for joining us. We will see you guys next week on the other side. We hope you enjoyed Thursday night football. Hope we get a good one. We're going to wish all teams well. Fields, I would love to see if you can find the win column. I don't think it's going to be tomorrow.
He played pretty good.
I know. Like I said, I would hope he could get in the win column. His play had nothing to do with why they lost, in my opinion. But it is what it is at this moment. You know, teams are what they are. But, you know, I think the Bears might be under a weird curse. You know, you let go of the only coach that had you winning some kind of semblance of football.
And let that coach go too.
So. And you ain't been but close.
You ain't been right since. You ain't been right since.
So, yeah. But on that note, Coach B. Pat, tell the people where they can find you. What's up, Papa? Thanks for checking in. We appreciate that.
You can follow me at Coach B. Pat on Twitter, X, whatever they want to call it now, and Instagram.
All right, D Jones.
All right, get at your boy, that boy D Jones on Twitter and TikTok, and on Instagram, that boy D. Jones. Holla at your boy.
As always, I try to keep it simple. I'm just the Gransberry, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. We would love for you to follow us on YouTube and start checking out the show through YouTube. It's much easier that way. Please, please, please. And we're going to try to keep adding some new exciting things to the show, make it fun. I'm going to have new questions next week for you guys to answer. I might drop an email for y'all to send me those questions if you're not open to putting them on the web. But at any rate, we thank you for joining us, and you know where you can find your girls. So we'll see you next time. Peace.
Go Astros. Go Astros.